I honestly can't take myself seriously because I'm looking in my viewfinder and I'm like, there looks like something wrong with my makeup. It's because two different sides of my face. Anyway, so I filmed today for you a how I used to do my makeup versus how I do it now video. I have changed little tweaks on how I apply my makeup. As you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, highlighter was thrown out the door at the end of 2019. I feel like a changed woman because never in a million years did I ever think that I would not use highlighter. Anyway, so I wanted to show you guys exactly the little things that I've changed with my makeup routine and what I'm loving product wise for my makeup in 2020. So if you want to see how I used to create this look and how I create this look and everything involved in this, then please keep watching. So the first thing, and it's always remained the same, moisturiser and primer, but at the moment I am absolutely living for the Ole Henriksen Sea Rush Brightening Double Cream. Such a long name. It's just such a good moisturiser, super hydrating, but it's really nice at sort of like not mattifying your skin, but it's basically just a really good makeup primer. My lips at the moment though, guys, I'm suffering so badly with dry lips. It is just becoming, I can't really see, but this side is just so dry. It's just, you know, when you're like, it's been there for so long now, it's actually like getting me down. And I've tried every cream under the sun, like everything, and I just don't know what is wrong with them. It's really strange for me because I've never had that before. But I think it's just the cold weather. For primer, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier Foundation Primer in Radiance. This one I just love. It's such a good primer. I mean, I do my makeup these days very like matte, but I still just love this primer, mainly because I also love wearing on its own. Especially when you're on holiday, you can mix it with BB creams and stuff, and it's just the perfect kind of like no makeup base. First things first that has changed is I used to do my eyebrows before doing anything else, which I don't do anymore. So on this side of my face, I will do my old sort of makeup routine. So I'm just gonna fill in my eyebrows. And this is the other thing that I used to do a lot, is I would fill in the whole, I basically follow my eyebrow and just fill the whole thing in with the pencil, which obviously looked fine. I'd also say the way that I do the front of my brow has changed now as well. But it feels really weird because it's like the opposite of what I want to be doing. Still completely obsessed with the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. No matter how I'm doing my eyebrows, I'm always going to be using this pencil. It's just my absolute favourite. And then after that, I used to conceal around my eyebrow. The thing is as well, I feel like with my new makeup routine, I actually do my makeup so much quicker because I've cut out sort of all these steps, which did look good. I mean, they look good, there's nothing wrong with these steps, but I just feel like I just so much prefer the way I do my makeup now because it's a lot quicker for one, a lot more sort of natural. But for the sake of this video, we're going to do it exactly how I used to do it. For this eyebrow as well, I forgot to say, I am using the MAC Pro Conceal Correct palette in medium. I'm using these two colours at the top here, I'm just mixing them together. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the small beauty blender. I'm just going to blend in that concealer around my eyebrow. Now this eyebrow technique I think I still do love if I'm going for like a full glam, but I still change I think a little bit of how I actually fill the eyebrow in. But this is good if you want to do, as I said, a really like heavy sort of eyeshadow look. But for my kind of like go-to everyday makeup, I just don't really see the need in doing this first anymore. I'm going to start off with what I now do just to start off with. So my first step is foundation. For foundation, I'm obsessed with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. I use shade 330W. I just love this foundation. I'm not sure what it is about it. I think it's the fact that it's like the perfect mix between dewy and matte, but it's also just the best coverage. I can't rave about this foundation enough. I really am just obsessed with it. I'm just gonna put some onto my beauty blender and then I'm just blending it. Making sure it's all blended onto my neck. So now obviously I don't have my eyebrows done before I do my foundation. I don't like worry too much about completely missing my eyebrow. I'm quite sort of just like blasé when I put my foundation on. So I don't purposely put it over my eyebrow, if that makes sense. But I'm also not like super careful about not touching my eyebrow with the foundation. I really need to get one of those makeup scarf things. Whenever I do my makeup, I feel like I'm always like struggling with my hair. So now I've blended in all my foundation, you can see that it's just such an amazing coverage. I honestly can't recommend this foundation enough. I'm so in love with it. So next up, I need to this is so funny, I'm trying to remind myself what I used to do. So I need one of my buffer brushes. That's what I do need. So one thing that I absolutely used to love was a liquid contour. I used to do it all the time. I definitely don't anymore unless I'm doing maybe like a party look, but I used to do it like literally daytime as well. So this would be where, I'm trying so hard to remember where I used to put it. Oh yeah, that was the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Beautiful Bronze, my absolute favourite one for doing the cream contour. So then I'm using a buffer brush. This one is my kit brush, angled number 7, I don't really know. One of my random brushes I picked up. Now this is massively, I think one of the biggest things that's changed with how I do my makeup is the angle that I do my contour. So before, I would follow along the bottom of my cheekbone right down to about there, and then I'll just bluff in this jaw one, forehead. So once I buff that in as much as I can, and then just gonna get my blender and blend it out. So now that I just used powder contour, I'm going to go straight in with concealer on both sides of my face. So on this side, I am going to use 2 different colours. So I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in Taffy. So I use this one more just for like a bit of extra coverage, because as I say, I really love that sort of like matte makeup look at the moment. So I'm going to put this one here, so on my chin, and then using that same beauty blender, I'm just going to blend that in. These concealers are amazing. The coverage of them is just so good, honestly. On both sides of my face, I'm going to use the Born This Way concealer. This one is in Almond, so this is a much lighter colour. This is more for highlight. I'd say the places that I put concealer in have still always stayed the same. They definitely haven't changed. My nose is the one thing I don't think I can do half and half of, so I'll probably just do my nose exactly how I do it at the moment. And then just using the smaller beauty blender, I'm just going to blend that out. The one thing I would say that I do differently as well when it comes to blending my concealer, I'm a lot slower with how I blend it. So I focus, like I basically spend more time pressing the product into like the center of my face, which is where I want most of the product to be. And then I'll just like lightly blend it out along the top of my cheekbone. This almond shade of the Too Faced concealers is so good for highlighting your face, though. It's such a good shade. So basically I'm going to try, I think what I used to do with concealer is just go straight in and blend like that, do you know what I mean? So I just move the product around without actually like pressing it into where I actually put it onto my face. So I would just sort of be a little bit more, just a bit, I think a little bit careless with where I'd put the concealer, I suppose. And then as you can see, it blends kind of like a bit further down and over places that maybe you don't necessarily want it. This looks so funny. I feel like I'm doing this, it's so weird to do makeup like this, but hey ho. The biggest thing that came out of 2019 for me was the fact that I've ditched highlighter, which I am so baffled by, because you guys know, like I was just obsessed with highlighter. Like it was a necessity when it came to makeup. I was just in love with it. And now I don't know why I even stopped. I think I started doing like a bit more of like Makeup by Ariel's masterclass makeup look that I went to, and I was just doing this sort of like, because he doesn't really use highlighter, and I just kind of started not using highlighter that much. And then everyone kept saying, your makeup looks amazing, your makeup looks amazing. Like there was just all these people, like random people on the street would stop me to be like, your makeup looks amazing. And I was thinking, this is so weird, because I'm not doing anything. All I'm really doing is just not using highlighter. So I've honestly just sort of like, I've ditched it, guys. I really have. I just think my makeup looks a lot fresher. I think it looks nicer for longer. If you haven't tried it, just give it a go. You don't have to get rid of it completely, but just give it a go. But anyway, for the sake of this video, of course, I'm going to highlight my face. So what I used to do is obviously still using the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, but 2 things have changed. So with the setting powder, I would apply it with a brush. So for this, I'm using the Blank Canvas F40 brush, and I would just dust it over my face, but I'd sort of follow a bit of the line of the contour, I suppose, just basically so that I was covering it but not covering it up, if that makes sense. And then I was always really careful to leave this part of my cheekbone sort of with no powder on, because I like the highlighter to stick. So I would sort of powder under my eye. This still is though just the absolute shit when it comes to translucent setting powders. I don't know what they put in the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, but it's magical. It's actually magical. Set my forehead as well. And using this brush as well is one of the big things that I've changed when it comes to applying my powder. But now I'm obsessed with powder puffs. This has also come from the Makeup by Ariel masterclass, I must say, but it just works so well with the Laura Mercier powder. So I'm just gonna pop some onto my powder puff, and then I go over every part of my face now with the powder before I do anything. So this is a straight after, so I've got concealer on and I've got foundation obviously, and then I'm just pressing the powder into my skin. I think is, one, is how you achieve like the perfect sort of matte makeup look, but also this will just keep your makeup in place for so long. And then I'm using the smaller beauty blender. I'm gonna grab some on there, and then I'm just gonna put some powder on to bake. So I'd say that is basically where I leave my powder to bake. I don't take it too far because it is, you know, the sort of this everyday makeup look. But before, I would definitely have baked along this bit, which kind of seems crazy to me now that I used to do this for just sort of like my everyday makeup look, because obviously it does really give you like an intense contour, do you know what I mean? And now when I look at it, I just think, oh my god, I can't believe that that was my like everyday makeup look. It's really crazy to me. And then I would have left some powder under my eye to bake, but for the purpose of this, I'm just gonna go straight in with the highlighter. This is the Living My Best Light palette, which is from Beauty Bay. This is an amazing highlighter palette though. So if you are a highlighter fiend and you just love it, I can't recommend this one enough. It is honestly amazing. The colour that I use in this is Charmed, which is this top colour here. Also the mirror is like so fucked on this. And then I'm using the Sephora Pro highlighter brush. This was definitely the best highlighter brush I ever used. So I'm gonna go down my cheekbone. The one thing though I must say about highlighter that I do miss is in pictures, like especially obviously, you know, if you're on a night out, you take flash pictures and all that sort of stuff. That is probably actually what I miss the most. It's not actually what it looked like on my face, it's more just the look that it gives you in pictures. But also I would always put my highlighter on before I put my bronzer on, just because, I don't know, I did feel like it did look better doing it that way. And then I would put a bit up here. Feels so weird putting highlighter on, honestly, it's been so long. I wonder if I'll ever kind of go back to it. I wonder if I have like a full 360 and then just be like, eat my words I'm saying right now, and just go straight back into highlighter life. We shall see, watch this space guys. So that is what used to go on this side. So now I still can't live it like that. Honestly, I swear to God guys, this contour that I've got on this side of my face, it looks so strong to me now, but that was how my makeup used to look. It was just sort of this line, but at the time I didn't think it was a line, but now I'm looking at myself, I've got a mirror in front of me here, like I'm like, that is just such an obvious contour, which is fine. I mean, it's not a bad thing if you're going out, but this was my daily sort of makeup look, which meant for this side of my face, I use a bronzer, and actually I am obsessed. Like this is also the best thing that for me that's come out of 2019. So this is the Too Faced Natural Lust Bronzer. It is amazing. I think it's amazing because it's one of those bronzers where it's the perfect colour and it's also so buildable, because there's nothing worse, is there, when you're doing your makeup and you are putting on your bronzer and you put your brush in and it's just like, oh shit, like you put too much on. I feel like it's impossible to do it with this one. It's just so good. The other thing that's changed is I used to use for bronzer a brush that was a bit more sort of like a bigger coverage brush, shall we say. I now use a much smaller, very compact, like sort of like a blending brush almost to put my bronzer on. This is the Face Bake and Blend Huda Beauty brush, so it's not the fluffy end, it's this end. The thing I love the most about this bronzer is it's got these two shades. So you've got the slightly highlighted shade, and then you've got the bronze. So I'm just getting some of that onto my brush, and this is also massively where my makeup has changed, where I put my bronzer. So I focus it massively on the top side of my cheekbone. I don't start down here, I start really far up towards like my ear, and I focus it on the high point of my cheekbone, pretty much almost like where I guess I would have put the highlighter maybe. And now I sort of take the bronzer around to pretty much like where my eyebrow is, and then I use the brush and I just sort of go like this into my crease. This is just so it sort of all matches together, if that makes sense. And then for the forehead, I also just focus it again on my temple and around my hairline. But I very much make sure now that my forehead and like the side of like it all sort of like joins together, if that makes sense, so it's quite seamless. I also bring my bronzer quite close to sort of the brow arch as well. But as you can see, the bronzer colour is just so nice. And I've used like quite a lot. I keep going back to my product, but I'm not getting that really heavy, obvious bronzer or any sort of like crazy lines or anything like that. And then I'm also just gonna go along bottom and just like that. So you can see already the difference in my face shape from how I used to do my makeup, which really sort of drags my cheekbone down. I mean, granted, in pictures I look like I was like snatched cheekbone, but this is just a lot softer, a lot more sort of natural. So I'm just gonna take off the powder that we had baking on both sides of my face, and also up here. So for bronzer on this side of my face, I'm gonna use the Hoola bronzer, which is an amazing bronzer, but I just prefer the colour in the buildability, is that a word? If it's not, I've just made it one, of the Too Faced one when it comes to my bronzer now. But I'm going to use, as I say, a bit more of a fluffy brush, and then I would just follow sort of the contour that I'd already put on, and then I'd really just bronze my face up. But this is the thing, I would focus so much of the product really in the lower side of my cheekbone, and then I'm just going to put some on my forehead as well. So the other biggest change that has come along with getting rid of highlighter is blusher. I love blusher now, which is another thing I never thought I would ever like, because I used to be scared of blusher. I used to just, honestly, I used to hate it. I'm going to use the Morphe blush palette. This one is in 8W, and I'm actually using, some of the colours have fallen out of this, but it's good because it's none of the colours I use. So I'm going to use MUA, which is this sort of dark, it's kind of like a bit of a bronzier colour anyway, so it's not too scary. And then I mix it in with this sweet one, which is a bit pinkier. So just kind of like dab my brush into both of them. And then for this as well, I'm using the Make Me Blush brush. This is the Beauty Bay one. And I'm just gonna pop it. So I put it on the centre of my cheek and sort of dust it upwards, and also kind of towards my waterline. Oh god, I was getting so hot, I've just put my hair up. So next up on this side of my face now, I am just going to fill in my eyebrow. So as I said, this is also changed in the sense that I now don't sort of like fill in the whole thing. I basically just go through and add colour to where I think my eyebrow needs it. So still using the Precisely My Brow Pencil, I'm using it in shade 3. So I always draw the line along the bottom there, and then brush my eyebrow a lot as I'm going along to kind of see where I need it. And so for an everyday makeup look, you can just see that like this eyebrow, great for sort of like more of a glam vibe, but this is just a lot more natural, softer, like a little bit less in your face, you know, a bit more sort of like what my brow would look like if I had dream brows and they just grew that way anyway, you know. So this is why I'm absolutely obsessed with this product. It's amazing for kind of drawing on hair strokes. So I'm just gonna kind of fake the front of my brow. I start probably about there, and then I just draw up some individual hair strokes to kind of make my brow look a little bit longer, a little bit fuller, and then I'm just gonna brush them out a little bit. So this is the then versus now brow. As you can see, it's so much more natural, a bit more fluffy. obviously there's nothing wrong with this brow, but it's just not kind of the everyday kind of one I want now. And then I'm going to set them both, so still obviously setting them with the 24-hour brow setter from Benefit. This one is just the best. So next up we have eyes. Now this also hasn't changed too much, apart from the fact that I used to just sweep some bronzer through my crease. So that's what I'm going to do. This is a Morphe Jeffree Star blending brush, this one. So now when I used to put the bronzer in my crease, I would really just focus it in my crease, funnily enough. Just kind of like that, really quite simple. Now I still use a bronzer kind of colour, but I actually use a bit more of an actual eyeshadow. At the moment I'm using this Morphe palette. This one is 25D. I'm going to use this colour here, so it's a bit orangey. So when I put my crease colour in now, I actually focus it a little bit higher and I take it up into my eyebrow. So as you can see, it's sort of like in this section of my eye now, and then take it along the crease. But again, I'm focusing the product a little bit higher up my brow bone. And then for the everyday makeup, I would just put some mascara on and then put the lash on top. But now I'm just going to put some mascara on this one. I'm still in love with the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara, especially for my bottom lashes. I really think it's so good. But now, before I do mascara, I just add a little bit of eyeliner to the outside corner of my eye. So I'm using at the moment the Huda Beauty Lifeliner, and I'm using the pencil end. I love this eyeliner, mainly because the pencil end is so good to smudge out. I really love it for that. And then I'm going to use a pencil style brush. This one is a masked. This is the brand, I think you get them in Superdrug, this one. Just a little pencil style brush. I'm just going to buff that out. And then once I have buffed that a little bit out, I'm just going to put some mascara on. I was always such a sucker for a winged lash. Like this kind of like cat eye, winged look. That was my go-to, absolutely loved it, and thought that was what it was best for my eye. Now this one on this side, this is an Eldora M111 lash. So this is what's going on this side. But currently, I am in love with a real kind of like wispy lash that is kind of the same length all the way round. Much more of an eye-opening look, I feel like this gives me. It suits my eye shape a lot more. These ones are the Lily Lashes in Hollywood. I'm absolutely obsessed with these ones. So I'm going to go ahead and put them both on so you can see the difference. So when it comes to lashes, I'm not going to lie, I still love both. I love this if I'm going for like a bit more of a cat eye kind of look. But this, I feel like opens my eyes a bit more. It just, I don't know, I just love this kind of like real full lash. This one is obviously really nice. It just sort of like, I suppose, does kind of like close your eye a little bit more because it kind of elongates it, if you know what I mean. But I will still obviously always wear lashes like this because I do think they look so nice, especially when you've got like a flick or eyeliner or anything like that. So to finish off my eye makeup, I'm going to use that same Morphe colour that I used in my crease and put it underneath my eye. For this, I am using the Eye Smudge brush. This is by Bobbi Brown. And then for the other eye, I'm going to use some Hoola bronzer under my eye. Like so. One thing as well that I've forgotten that I did all the time was the inner corner highlight, which I need to do in my eye. So that is my makeup, or most of my makeup finished. So I'm going to set my face now and then do my bottom mascara, because I feel like if I do the bottom mascara and then set my face, I end up with smudges under my eyes, which no one wants. So to set my face, I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. So once your face is dried from the setting spray, I just put some roller lash on my bottom lashes. This is so good. Such a good mascara. And one thing that has not changed, and I don't see probably ever changing, is my lip combo. So that is, of course, the MAC lip liner in Strip Down and MAC Myth. Just obsessed with it, basically. So annoying putting lip liner and lipstick on my lips at the moment because they just are so dry. Always will be my fave nude lip combo. So there we have it, guys. That is my makeup look then versus now. I mean, both still good makeup looks in a sense. Honestly, I can't look at myself, see, I look like I've done something really wrong with my makeup, and I do feel like this is great still if I want to go for like a strong contour glam look, but the fact that I was kind of going out in the day with like just kind of this really intense contour, which is amazing in video and pictures, but just for day-to-day life, like this is just a lot softer. And I feel like the matte finish that you get with the translucent setting powder from Laura Mercier, and like the no highlight, but the sort of highlight you get just from the bronzer and all that kind of stuff, it is just a little bit, I don't know, I just prefer it. I really do. But I'm intrigued to see what you guys think. Do you prefer then? Do you prefer now? Do you like them both? Are you guys going to be tempted to give up highlighter? Let me know. It might change your life, you never know. Give it a whirl. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll list all the products that I used for both sides of my face below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. I will also do another makeup look where I'll do this whole thing on both sides, but I'll do a bit more of a, maybe a nighttime glam using this kind of vibe on this side. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.